Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, is Mark.
Hello, it's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi.
Megan is here, too.
Hello, it's Megan.
Hi, Megan.
The head of the table.
And with us, a special guest from Will There Be Cake is Amber. Oh, that's right. She was sick. She can't make it.
Oh.
All right, but okay, so hold on. All right, so joining us on the Alter Ego Podcast, we have Ryan.
Ooh.
Ryan, God bless America. We talk about this all the time.
Through a fault of his own.
Jesus. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
Super duper.
Is Justin
Super
almost
duper.
back? Or
I've been
what's
saying
going on?
super a lot.
Oh, that's right. Justin is right. On another plane of existence, we will see Justin. He's coming back, though.
Soon? Well, no.
I think
about
he's coming
halfway there.
back in September.
September. Yes.
Yeah, he'll be back in September.
So he's about halfway through this 6-month stretch.
Yeah, then we're going to
Being
have
on.
Justin and Ryan in here so they can talk for interstellar domination.
Well, I mean, if you lived out of state right now, would you move to Florida? Probably not.
No.
If I lived out of state right now, I'd be thanking myself for living out of state.
We may have lost him forever.
Oh, my God, don't say that.
He's in a better place.
Yeah, okay, I'll deal with that.
Connecticut.
Isn't it Massachusetts?
You know what? Before we get
One
too
of
far
those.
into it, before we get
he's
too
in New England.
far, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Ford Supply Company. This episode of Alter Ego Podcast is sponsored by Ford Supply, makers of all natural organic soaps for men with scents like tropical teakwood, citrus IPA, cypress pine, and more. Visit their website at fordsupply.com oh my God, let me start that over. Visit their website at fordsupply.com to order online and use promo code ALTEREGO to get 10% off your order. Ford soap. Real soap. No bullshit.
Wow, what a professional commercial.
So I thought, we've
here we go.
We've been pushing soap. We've been soap mongers on this channel for so long, and I thought, you know what?
We should start using it.
I've been using
Yeah,
it.
we've been using it.
It's gone well for me. But I thought, let me go to Ford Supply and pull up some of their reviews, some of their customer reviews, and see what the actual users of this product are saying.
Oh, boy.
And I said, I want to get down to the nitty-gritty and see, because sometimes you'll see like political ads, everything's great, but everything's not great. And that could be the same for our sponsor. So I went to fordsupply.com and pulled some actual reviews from their site. Okay. This one I've got from John Smith. Okay. I used the blacksmith soap. I washed my body okay.
Like, did he do an okay job? He did an okay job.
All
Washing
right,
Is he looking
John.
for approval at the end? I washed my body. Okay.
All right, John. All right,
Leave
John.
me alone, Mom.
Here's a good one. Terrence. I bought some Ford soap to smell better because I heard it on the Alter Ego podcast. I love the way it makes me feel when I go outside and people are like, Jesus Christ, sir, you smell like $1 million fucking dollars.
Oh.
Wow, that's a glowing review.
That's a great
Nice.
one.
Okay.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Terrence. Who is real. Here's one from Jethro McGillicuddy IV. I used Ranger soap this weekend, and by Monday, crime had dropped in my neighborhood by 30%.
Wow.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Holy smokes, Jethro. Where the f do you live, first and foremost?
Jethro.
And
Must
thank you
smell
so
really
much
good
for
right now.
thank you so much to Terrence and Jethro for listening to the show as well. Here's one from Juan Carlo. I was a castaway after falling off a cruise liner in '08. I can tell you with all certainty you do not smell like a castaway if you use the Castaway brand of Ford soap. I smelled like salt water mixed with sweat and human feces, as there weren't many objects you could use to comfortably wipe with on an island as a castaway. I bought this soap ironically, and happy to say it smells amazing. I guess that's good.
It's a good compare and contrast.
Turned a corner at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was going to go one way, but it ended up going
Is this
another.
insensitive? Like, should we change these names, or should we write a letter to Ford Supply?
Speak to your own customers, my man. This I say to Ford Supply. Speak to your own people. This is directly from their mouths. Here's one from Karen. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Karen, My husband used the Gentleman brand after hearing your ad on Alter Ego podcast. As he exited the shower, his scent overtook me. I attacked his genitals like a hungry hyena on the wild plains of the Serengeti.
Oh.
I lost all power over my actions and was helpless. I would like to speak to the manager. Wow. Shout out to Karen's husband. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I don't have any direct contact with the Ford Supply Company, but keep writing those reviews. I'm sure they read them. This one is just from somebody named Deez, D-E-E-Z. You know what I washed. Okay. Little blatant, but okay. Here's one from Francesca. Dear Roger, I'm sorry that I didn't value your trust. I'm the first person to realize that I'm not perfect. I told you in the first place that our safe word should not have been please stop. I went too far and I know that now. Please, if you read this, know that I still love you and will do everything I can to get you back. Let's not throw 60 years of marriage down the drain, even if that means blaming your silent farts on me when we're in public. I miss you. The kids miss you. Please come back. Franny. Ford
Wow.
Supply. Wow. Roger, somebody's reaching out, buddy. That's a cry for help. They miss you. They love you. Also, the weird kink stuff in your accelerated age, 60 years of marriage. I got to say, Roger's at least 80. Woo. You guys are still doing kink shit. Things are going well. Well, thank you to Ford Supply. That was
some glowing reviews.
Good customer reviews.
Glowing
And honestly,
reviews.
after
Glowing,
reading that,
honest, real, actual reviews.
after reading that, I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Where can I buy more soap? At FordSupply.com using promo code AlterEgo for 10% off. So,
Why wouldn't you want the discount?
yeah, that was great. Let's just play the Google song, shall we? All right, I'm not Googling anything, but I did want to go over some of the posts I had for the week since we've been here. Right? How about Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Oh, I thought these
stunt
were personal
coordinator?
posts.
No.
We're going to go through his Facebook right
Just
quick.
ate a
Insta.
sandwich.
TTYL, LOL, JK. Buffy stunt coordinator and stunt double calls Joss Whedon an egomaniac. Now, this is the second person to come
Yeah.
out. They are really jumping on the trash Joss Whedon train, aren't they?
Well, here's the thing. Like, Cyborg, Ray Fisher, jumped all over him, and
Big time.
nobody backed him up.
Well,
No.
I think they all wanted to be quiet about it.
Yeah. But that's kind of hard when you're like, everybody saw it. And then everybody's like, ah.
Let's also think about that for a second. Name me another Ray Fisher movie. Okay. Now, on the same side of that coin,
Untitled canceled
Ben Affleck.
Cyborg film.
Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, all those people, they have big franchises, big things, and people that are hiring them still. So, Ray, I'm not saying you did a bad job, buddy, but, you know, he's got nothing to lose when taking shots at Joss Whedon.
Well, also, one of his main complaints was he made me say booyah.
Isn't that Cyborg's saying?
Yes.
That's the one thing he says?
He's like, this is kind of stupid. I don't really want to say this.
Who doesn't want
That's
to say
a
booyah?
catchphrase.
Okay.
So I can see where they clashed a little bit.
You know, and a lot of rumors that Whedon was coming in and kind of shitting on what they'd created already and said, "This, I don't know why you did this. This was stupid." And all these people that had been working so hard, blood, sweat, and tears, were kind of upset about.
I could see that rubbing everybody the wrong way.
Me too. But hey, it is what it is. I'm surprised, and we'll see as more people come forward on that. Oh, another one. 20 years 2 days ago. So what was 2 days ago? The 14th, from when we record this. The X-Men movies first came out 20 years ago from then.
Wow.
Right. Your first time ever seeing Wolverine or Magneto or Professor X.
Does that
That's
not
crazy.
age the fuck out of you?
It does.
I'm having an existential crisis over here right now.
I'm literally
Oh
crying,
my
and I don't even
God.
know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it happened.
That's just, yeah, that's interesting.
That's crazy.
20 years. Those are some good movies, man, especially for the time.
For the time, yeah.
1 and 2. Especially for the time.
I agree. No, with that second statement too, only X-Men 1 and 2. Although I was like, yeah, okay.
I remember seeing the first one and just going, wow.
Yeah. These are X-Men.
Because I remember I had the toys, I watched the cartoon series, I read the comics, but then to see them portrayed like that on screen, I was just like, all right,
This is cool.
this is cool.
Yeah. The Comic-Con at-home guide has been posted. We put it up on our page on Facebook.com. The Comic-Con at-home guide, how to look at the panels, how to watch, where to watch, what the panel schedule is. Be sure to go in and check that out. I believe there's another post. No Marvel at Comic-Con this year?
No Marvel. And I'm pretty sure there's no DC as well.
I'm calling the police.
I'm sure if Marvel's going to do anything, broadcast out, they'll do it through Disney Plus or
There you
their
go.
own social media channels.
As well they should.
Marvel and Disney, Marvel/Disney has been having this weird thing with Comic-Con where some years they show up, some years they pass. It's this roller coaster where they just kind of skip years here and there.
I don't know why they're even still having it, with production being slowed down as much as they have, and they're making it free to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, guys, I get it. I do get it that they want to put something on, and some people still want to get their product out there, but
I'm sure there's logistics of corporate sponsorships
Yeah.
and things like that they do not want to return.
right.
So it's
We're having it. We
still
need
counts
this. Yeah, I got you.
distribution rights and things
And
like
some
that.
people might like that more because they can have more of a clear message of their product and what they have without,
Yeah. I'm wondering how this is going to work. I'm curious. I think I'm going to hop in for a couple of things and kind of see how
I think that
Yeah.
starts July 23rd.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, so I got nothing going on that day.
No, there's
So I'll
nothing
be
happening
watching
next
it.
day. That day.
But
next day.
If Marvel, DC, all the mainstays are not showing up,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to really look forward to.
There's
I'm
always,
sure that
there's always
millions
technology.
of other, yeah, there's
you know.
millions of other properties. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, especially comic-based things. But just when the big blockbusters aren't showing up, you're like,
Yeah.
it kind of takes the edge off a little
It
bit.
really does. It really does. Speaking of Marvel, the Eternals talking about their very first look, their very first teaser trailer coming soon.
Ooh.
I'm excited about that.
Same.
Oh my gosh. Here's one that Megan and I go walking just about every night. We got about a block down the road, and I was like, have you seen the new Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx? The preview for it.
I have not.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I haven't either.
It's called Power. Oh my gourd. Looks really good. So the premises of this movie is they've created a pill that gives you superpowers.
Ooh.
And you don't know what the powers are when you take the pill.
Oh,
It's
man.
kind of like, you take it and roll the dice. Some people
Ooh.
get very bad powers that are detrimental to them and everyone around them. Some people get really cool powers. Like in the trailers, one of the guys is invisible. You know what I mean? One of the guys kind of has a Human Torch situation going on. I don't know how controllable it is, but he has.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you take a pill and turn into a Human Torch, your whole house is up in flames.
Right, and you can't turn
you
back
don't know how.
off of being
Yeah.
Human Torch. That's problematic as well. And then it's these three individuals. Jamie Foxx, this young lady, I don't know her name. I don't know who she is, but she seems good in the trailer. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I'm a big fan of. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
When is this happening?
I
I couldn't find it in the article.
Let's take a look, shall we? This is from comicbook.com. A lot of stuff I see that I will reshare or any of the news that I find comes from comicbook.com. They do a fantastic job. They do podcasts of their own. Check them out. They are so stinking good. This says August.
That's what I was reading, but I
Yeah.
couldn't
That's
find
so
where
close.
on August
In the
list.
middle of August is when this is
Okay.
supposed to come out.
Well,
let
that's
me
not
just
far off.
peep through the trailer real quick and see if at the end they give me a release date. But this looks so good because Jamie Foxx is Jamie fucking Foxx.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know the last time I saw a movie with him starring and was like, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever.
Yeah.
Baby
He's
Driver.
incredible.
Django.
Right. He can do anything. He's one of those guys. You know what I mean?
Did you watch Baby Driver yet?
No. I was going to,
You
then
were
I
over
decided
it.
to go on living my life. August 14th.
August 14th.
No, I want to see it, but August 14th is when Power comes out, and I will be watching that day one. I also need to watch the one with Charlize Theron.
I was just about to say, did anybody watch Old Guard?
No.
No?
We need to?
No, but I was
I don't know.
saying the other day that we should watch it.
I heard it was really good.
I did. Don't believe anything.
She was telling me that we should not watch that show because it looks stupid. She was saying.
That's not true.
That
I
seems
almost picked
accurate.
up the graphic novel the other day because I wanted to read it before I watched it on the
She did do that. And I also posted the first 3 minutes of The Boys Season 2.
I don't want to watch it.
I'm not touching it. I am waiting. I am waiting.
We're
I
so
am waiting.
close. We're
Oh.
weeks
I know.
away.
It's
So
literally
good.
so soon.
I don't know why, but I'm drawing a blank on his name. This will not spoil anything for you.
Mm.
What's his name?
Black Noir.
Black Noir.
How did message?
It is focused around Black Noir.
Really?
The first 3 minutes?
Okay.
I'm telling you, crazy shit's going to happen with him.
That's what everybody's saying. That's what everybody's saying.
We've talked about it. Go back and listen if you haven't. It's the boys episode.
I got two more things I want to talk about. Then we'll move on to Saga.
Saga.
The focus part of our show today.
Oh my God, I thought it was Sega.
This is
I just played Echo the Dolphin for 8 hours in preparation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, you're going to be just fine. Xbox exec slams concept of next-gen exclusive video games. So basically what he's saying here, and I'll read a quote from this gentleman, Spencer, Mr. Spencer, I don't know, Phil Spencer.
I already don't
He
like
says,
him.
gaming is about entertainment and community and diversion and learning new stories and new perspectives. And I find it completely counter to what gaming is all about to say that part of that is to lock people away from being able to experience those games or to force someone to buy my device on that day that I want them to buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. So what he's saying is he doesn't like when let's say any big major gaming place puts out their console and says all these great games are coming out and they're only exclusive to this brand new console. The only way you're playing them is by going in and buying our new console. Then you can enjoy the game. So Xbox is trying to go through an approach of making all of their games compatible through Xbox One, Xbox
Compatible
One
or
X.
compatible?
That's what I said.
Forward compatible or
And the new
backward
gen.
compatible?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So they want to be able to produce games that are compatible with the new Xbox and the Xbox One X and the Xbox One. They don't want to turn people off from those.
I can see that, but software capabilities, hardware capabilities, like how are they going to keep up with that?
Not my problem.
If they come out with a new Fable, how's that going to look on an original Xbox?
Right. I agree. I don't know the logistics of that, but I do enjoy the concept.
I mean, I enjoy spending less money.
Me
so
too. Me too.
great.
But there have been so many times where the missus and I are taking a look and like, are we going to do this? Well, these new things are coming out. Let's just go ahead and do it.
All the next gens, I'm looking at it going, I don't think I'm going to do it.
Really?
If they're $500, I don't think I'm going to drop it. It might be the first time ever. I've had every generation up until now.
Are you
Xbox or PlayStation?
I'm a PlayStation guy.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
For life.
So like
Never owned an Xbox.
I tell him every time a new generation comes out, it's like not even a thought like we're gonna buy it. So
Yeah.
obviously it's up.
Well,
to
we
him
use it every
since-
day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Really?
TV, streaming, games, everything.
Well, okay, so I about 6 months ago, I switched over to using a Fire Stick for all my streaming stuff.
We use one too.
It's so much faster because you don't have to do software updates. There's not a long load section.
Yeah.
Like, it's just click and it's on.
Mm-hmm.
I love
We
it
have
so
that
much
in the
more.
TV in our room. But
we have that in our bedroom, but the Xbox is hardwired, so it's actually faster than most of the
Yeah.
stuff in our house. It's the only thing that's hardwired to our actual internet.
So, and not to mention, we get Netflix, Hulu,
Yeah.
any other Disney Plus, any other streaming stuff through the Xbox. And to me, it's a one-stop shop. And if I'm watching Netflix or something on the Xbox, and she's going to bed, and I want to turn something on, boop boop, and I'm on whatever game I want to play. So that's why it's a little bit more integral. And the boys have, an Xbox as well that they use from time to time. And when we upgrade, they get the one that we've been using. So either way, that's great. And PlayStation has been kind of having a fire sale with a lot of their older games, selling them real cheap.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. If it's to try to combat this whole possible frontwards, backwards compatibility that's going on with Xbox?
They always have a fire sale right after they announce the
Gotcha.
next generation.
Gotcha.
It happens every time. So this is just business as usual. I don't think they're reacting to anything. Every time they do a new announcement, they try and dump everything as fast as possible.
I don't think they have to either. They don't have to dump anything because
But
they're
they always
PlayStation. They're the number one console in the world. There's no debating that. So
I was just a PS1
Good for
guy
them.
and just have followed it all the way through.
there you go. I got an Xbox 360 when it was PS2 versus Xbox 360, and I forget why I got it. Probably because a friend of mine had one, and at the time, Xbox was gloating about how great their graphics were, and I made the switch. I'm going too far into that.
Speaking of Switch, I love playing my Switch, though.
Oh, me too. It's incredible. My favorite thing right now also that Xbox is talking about is getting rid of its subscription fee for Xbox Live Gold.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, because there's been so much revenue generated through Game Pass for them to be able to buy games and play games through Xbox Game Pass and blah, 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 that they're saying we'd rather have more people on and playing on the Surface for free. This is a rumor, not 100%. It's a rumor. And making them buy the Game Pass so they can actually get more for the Game Pass.
Yeah.
But at least we're still getting those subscription dollars, and we're getting more people to play, which I think is a great strategy. Great idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So.
I don't know. I keep looking at things like Google Stadia, and in theory, it sounds great, but in execution, apparently it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I've thought for a while something like that would really take over the market. Very hardware light, but just it hasn't happened yet, and it was something I was really hoping for because if you can just grab something, play it online for free, not have to do a pass or anything else. You just pay your subscription fee, and you have your controller. That's all you need. But that just hasn't. I don't know if the technology's not there yet, or if the right people aren't making the moves. But it just hasn't happened.
Right. I'm just going to read one little sentence from this last thing. Okay?
We're
You
ready. Yep,
Are you ready?
absolutely.
Hold on.
Actually, I'm going to give you just some keywords.
Oh, boy.
Hulu,
The Mindy Project.
Marvel,
Oh.
Bernthal.
Mm?
Oh, did I say that?
My eyebrows can't get any higher than they are right now.
About the big, fat, nasty rumor that Disney is like, no. We want Punisher. We want Bernthal. It may not follow the continuity of the 2 seasons that are on Netflix, which would make total sense.
Yeah.
But to reboot the character and bring him over to Hulu or one of the other streaming services where he can still blow people's heads off
Because it's
uncensored.
not on Disney Plus. It's
Bring
on there.
it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
Probably the best casting out of that whole thing.
I
Yeah,
like
he
Charlie
was
Cox.
outstanding.
I like Charlie Cox.
I think,
But I think
honestly,
those are comparing tomatoes and
You know what? I think they're all great. I think they're all well cast. Even down to like Foggy
for
Nelson.
Iron Fist.
Except for Iron Fist.
Except for Iron Fist.
He is blocked out of my memory, and I don't think of it
I
until
forgot
somebody
he existed.
activates
Yeah,
it.
fuck LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, so Bernthal joining, and there's talk not only doing that on the streaming service, but making appearances in certain MCU properties.
Okay.
I
He could
like
pop in on a
it.
street level. I like that.
Yeah, it would be amazing. That's all I got for posts for the week. Let's get into it.
Let's do this.
Sega.
Well, I read a thing.
Sega.
So, for our listeners out there, Triple H, Paul White, all the
LaShawn McCoy.
bigs,
LaShawn
LaShawn
McCoy.
McCoy.
Well, maybe not
Sorry,
anymore.
LaShawn.
We ain't.
Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Definitely
Dear
Freddie
Big
Prinze.
Show.
Sidebar.
Ben Affleck.
Freddie Prinze and Jack are bros on the tweets.
That's true.
So they literally like and retweet each other's stuff all the time.
Wow.
I'm talking
That's
the
true.
real Freddie Prinze Jr. I didn't believe it either, but
Until I showed her my Twitter feed, she was like, "Oh my god!"
I mean, come on.
I'm trying to get him
That's
on the
pretty
24-hour podcast. No, Freddie. I'll say this for Freddie, who's a dear friend and a good listener of the show. He is one of the most down-to-earth, real people on social media and stuff like that. Like, he is very cool, responds to people. He's very nice. He does all he streams video games and plays Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean?
He's
like,
cool.
Your kind of guy.
Yeah. He has a show on YouTube called Good Evening, Good Game as well, or GEG, G-E-G-G, Good Evening, Good Game. And he's doing all kinds of stuff, man. He's still a busy little bee. So shout out to Freddie. Thanks for listening, Freddie. You're a great guy. We love
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
But it's not about you, Freddie.
Not this time.
It's on to Saga.
It's
Yeah.
about Brian
Saga
K.
time.
Vaughn.
That our friend
Yep.
Mark here had no idea about Saga. So
Not a clue.
We lent him Volume 1. May I? Take a
you
look
may.
at your comic.
I was going to say that is your comic.
So Saga kind of is what got me into reading
Comics in general.
comics in general. I mean, I've seen, comics growing up. I've seen them with my eyes.
Spittermans and such.
I've seen them.
Mm.
I've not read them.
Trying to see how many volumes
But
are in here. I think it's 4 or
Saga
5.
kind of taught me how to read comics because sometimes you don't know what bubble to read first.
Yeah.
Saga helped me.
Yeah.
It's the first series I read.
And
all
theirs
the way
is a little funny because they have like the little sidebar kind of things as
the
well.
Sidebar
The
stuff
sidebar
with it
on top of the bubble conversations.
for Hazel.
This
yeah.
is
So, yeah.
6 issues
6
in one
issues.
volume.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's kind of, I don't want to get too spoilery into it. I just love this story. And I want to get your fresh take on it because you just finished it yesterday, right?
I read it over 2 days.
And
I
message
just
me
finished
and
it
go,
yesterday.
hey, what's up on volume 2?
It's pretty good.
Okay, so first impressions. I grabbed this book. I looked at it.
Right.
I kind of perused through it. I looked at the first couple of pages and I went, this ain't for me. Like, I'm like, I'll read it. I'll read it for the podcast. But it's, people with wings and horns and a lot of breastfeeding and sex in the first couple of pages. So I'm like, this ain't for me, but whatever, this will be fine. I will tell you, the development of the story in this
It's fast and good.
It's so good because this is the kind of writing I really enjoy because it builds a world that you're not used to, but doesn't spoon feed it to you at the same time. So there's a lot of things in this book you have no idea why they happen or what the pre-existing notion behind certain wars or certain creatures are, but they kind of let you fill in the gaps, and I really enjoy that kind of writing where they're not like, back in 1742, there was a war between the... No, I don't need to know all the backstory.
And I do
fill it in
believe-
over time.
I know that we're talking about issue 1, but I do believe that some of those holes it gets answered kind of throughout the series. So I mean, like,
which is
you
good
do
because
get
that's
to build that story, and then it's the shock factor where you're like,
once they start filling in gaps, it seems fulfilling because it just happens in this one volume where you don't know what's going on, but it starts filling things in. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that ties into that other thing. It's really well written,
and it's not just about the main family either. It's like I love that you see it from so many different points of view throughout the entire series, so that you really it's like the best way to expand on a very large amount of characters without feeling like you're being overwhelmed.
They're building a world that you know nothing about in a very short period of time without overwhelming you at the same time.
And I think the good thing about Saga is, like you say, they don't force feed you anything. They let your mind fill in some of the blanks and kind of read the situation for what it is. And at that point, I think it makes you more invested.
Absolutely.
It makes it a little bit less about reading a history book than reading a story. You know what I mean?
When they started talking about the Great War and all these topics that are kind of tropes in comic books like this, I was like, here we go. It's going to go into the history and why these people hate each other and the grandfathers and the ancestors. And no.
Nope.
It does a little bit.
Yeah.
But just enough to kind of whet your appetite and go, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yep.
It's just, I expected something completely different out of this because it's not typically what I would read on my own.
Right.
But I really, really enjoyed it.
A very good friend
good
of ours
story.
from Emerald City Comics is the one who turned us on to this story way back when. Dave, I think I've mentioned him a couple times. He's like, have you read Saga? I was like, no. And then our other friend Adam is like, you haven't read Saga? I'm gonna recommend this to you, and you'll be back later today for volume 2. And I was like, okay. And Megan got done reading it. Was like, I'm going to. Emerald
I'll be
City.
right back.
I had the same reaction.
I think I bought volume 2, 3, and 4 when I went.
I was
back.
gonna say she bought 2 through 5.
I was
I was
like,
going to say, are they up to 5 or 6 right now?
9.
9.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
9 volumes. So it's a lot. They're on their 3rd actual book because the volumes turn into books.
Yeah.
I know I've
It's
talked
a
a
lot.
lot, but this is a wonderful read.
Yeah.
really
And it
is.
was breezy,
Yep.
and it kept me entertained the whole time. I wasn't kind of sighing, flipping pages like sometimes you do when you're reading
Yeah.
something. and
Yeah.
it goes on a
Sometimes
little
you're
bit.
gonna get to the point.
Yeah.
And fighting through this story. But no, it really is. It's a good read, and it's like I feel like because it does bounce around from a lot of characters, it doesn't bounce too hard to where. In this issue, you've gotten 2 or 3 pages with these people, and then 2 or 3 pages with these people, and then you don't ever come back to it until
Right.
forever later. It's very well done. It's spaced out really well, and the art in it, I love the colors,
second to
and
none.
it's very good. I mean, even the graphic pages to where you're seeing shit you don't really want
Oh,
to see.
yeah. Just to clarify what she's talking about, there's a lot of graphic nudity in this
Nudity
book.
and
Matter
some
of fact,
crazy ass looking
when,
characters.
When it starts out, she's giving birth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not much of a spoiler. It's on literally page 1.
Page 1.
2, whatever.
Sorry, I ruined the entire story.
Spoiler alert.
She's holding a baby on the cover, all right? Freddie, give me a break. But anyway, this story, like, it gives you so many people and so many different walks of life and so many different aspects of this one scenario that it doesn't allow you to make these preconceived notions about certain things. You just got to go with it as it happens. And then you get so invested in this person doing this and this person doing this, and it's insane.
I haven't had a comic book that I've not known at all pull me in this fast in a very long time. Yeah. And there were a lot of far-fetched ideas in this. Like, as soon as I saw the guy, I was flipping through, and I saw the guy with the TV head.
Prince Robot 4, I think his name is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince Robot the 4th.
And I was like, nah. And then, but as that was just flipping through, but as I was reading it, I'm like, this is far-fetched looking, but once you start reading and you're in the context of the book, it's not. You get a couple pages in, and it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, there's magic. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, like if you told me, oh, there's this book, it's about magic, and it's about people with TV, like, I turned my nose up at it, which shame on me, because who knows what I've missed out on because of that. But there are a lot of weird ideas in here that just fit in very well within the context of what they're building in this universe.
I'll say it's kind of like, and maybe this is a far-fetched comparison, but it's like South Park. With South Park...
Where's this going?
I know, I'm immediately like, what?
Not in a sense of it being funny or anything like that, but in South Park, everything's okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah.
So in this book,
that's true.
Everything is okay. Everything is on the table. There are great people. There are fucking terrible people.
There are bad people that are actually good people.
There are people that do disgusting things in this book. But you know what? The minute any of it's not okay, then none of it's okay.
Yeah.
I will. Okay, so I know we're not doing spoilers, so I won't say what it is.
Okay.
But they're about halfway through the book. I flipped to a page. There's a bubble. And it literally took my breath away. I went, when he opened the door and the girl was standing there, I went, like, literally, I was shocked. Like, I had a audible reaction. When you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
We have 2 copies of the volume in the studio right now. Mark's that we let borrow, and then we wanted
keeping it.
Yeah, we wanted to re-up on it, so we're like, you know what, we'll just go get it again.
Opens the door. I literally just reread this one today, and I'm not recalling.
I can't remember the guy. The
riveting stuff.
The Will.
Oh, the Will is the bounty hunter in there.
With the lion cat.
Yeah, lion cat. Isn't he awesome?
He opens the door and there's a girl standing there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. It just hit her.
Yeah.
When I saw that page, I literally gasped.
You're immediately like pained.
I was crushed.
Yeah.
And then that guy was crushed.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens like throughout the whole series, but I mean, just I know we're saying like it's a very smooth read. There's a lot.
Is that what you were talking about? This right here?
Yes.
When I flipped to that page and I was like, oh my God. And then immediately I was like, don't go in this direction, please. Like, I don't know you as a character very well. Please don't go in this direction.
That's kind of what I was saying is like there's a lot of bad characters that are good people. And it's like, and that just, like, his character, it really develops in that manner. And
then 4 panels later, he just redeems himself. And I'm like,
yes! He like becomes a bad guy.
You're
hero.
the good bad guy or the bad good guy. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in this whole book or series is really safe, other than maybe your Marco and Alana. Who are your title characters from Saga?
I feel like as this goes on, there's going to be a lot of shades of gray in this book.
Yeah.
Like, even with the main 2 characters.
They put it that way because these aren't like, that's another great thing about Saga is these 2 people who are together are not like, oh my God, we're totally head over heels in love with each other. They fight. They argue.
Yeah, they do.
They say shit like, fuck you.
Yeah. I would say they probably are very like head over heels in love with each other, but they do fight and argue because, I mean, like that's in most households. But like they do fight and argue and they do kind of bicker back and forth. But there are times that like one of them steps up and does something pretty outrageous to the other. You see in this volume that it's like bad, but it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense? I mean,
they make the hard decisions
spoiling,
in a shit situation.
But that's not spoiling this one. I mean, you can't really spoil this one.
I don't know if you guys are picking up, but it is thundering outside.
It is thundering a lot outside.
I'm very hungry. That's my tummy.
Yeah, that's my tummy. I'm also hungry. But anyway,
But
yeah, there's just a lot of action-packed stuff going on in this, even in this one volume. It's very good.
And I like that it's not a huge story. I
Yeah.
always love small stories.
Yeah.
So this isn't world ending. This isn't they're the chosen ones of the universe.
Correct.
They're just two people trying to do something real. They're trying to do the best for themselves and
Yep.
for their child.
And you relate to that a lot more.
Yes.
I can't relate to being the guy who picks up the hammer that only one person is worthy and then fights the entire galaxy.
Exactly.
Although I love that kind of story, this is a lot more relatable and something that I could pick up and go, oh shit, I could see what I would do in that situation.
Yeah.
I may be shooting myself in the foot because I don't know anything beyond Volume 1, but I was expecting about halfway through this, like, we have the amulet of Agamotto, and we must take it to the end of the universe to destroy it. And I'm like, I really don't want it to go that way. I want to keep following these people in their journey. I like this.
Telling you,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
It keeps that way. It keeps it
Stays that course a little bit.
I haven't said
I'm
this
sure it does get a little
yet,
bit bigger,
but
but as long
it
as
does
it's-
get bigger, and it does. I mean, but it really the main characters, you stick with most of the people that are.
and they don't become like the greatest threat.
I'm not telling you a goddamn thing,
That's
Mark.
true. I know.
was gonna say-
I'm trying to get spoilers, but I shouldn't.
Yeah, we're not going to give spoilers, but
But that's what I was going to say. We're going to return to Saga. We are going to do Volume 2, Volume 3,
for sure.
and Volume 4 and all that, and so on and so forth as far as this story goes.
Yes,
I think it's
Emerald
so
City's getting my money.
I think it's very compelling.
sure.
I think it's a great story and one that we'll touch on spoilers as we move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as we
we'll,
go
we'll
to
flashback
Volume
to
2,
Volume 1. But we want to give people time to read it because it's definitely one, and not that anything that we've ever talked about before, because we spoil like everything we talk about. But this
We do.
We do.
We
But
do have
this
a
is
nasty
one-
habit of spoiling everything we bring on the show, but Saga is different. It's unique.
Yes.
And when we spoil something like Carnage or Thor or whatever,
Or even the boys.
a lot of people know this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people know these stories. This one, you don't know anything about. You
No.
really should check it out.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll appreciate it so much more going into it, not knowing a lot of the finer details. But I will tell anybody who's listening who's about to pick it up and read it. Like I said before, the art is fantastic. All the characters are unique. Like nearly all
That's
of
true.
them. I mean, it's not on Earth. It's very sci-fi-ish, but it's like all the characters have there. It basically is like, if I could describe it, it's basically like.
I was trying to figure it out, and I really couldn't nail it down to anything.
I'm like it's basically a mashup of like sci-fi, like I don't want to say like medieval type D&D character type esque, and like real world problems, like smashed all into one. It has nothing to do with Earth. It has everything to do with space and different planets and where everybody's from and how they don't get along and all these wars. But it's literally, there's so much going on, but it's such a good, fresh like story. It's so different.
There's so many ridiculous ideas where if you cherry pick them out of this, you'd be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But in the context of the
It's
book,
so good.
it just meshes. This book is written so well
Yeah.
that I can't even explain it. Like, I'm nuts about this book. This is great.
We're
Are you
happy.
going to refer this to your better half?
Oh,
to read?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
She's
she
gonna.
would
so,
like it.
so the
First
reason I
foray.
bring her up for our listeners, Freddie, Triple H, all those guys, is because Jen's not a comic book reader.
She is not.
She's not. But I want us to convert her to being one.
And like I said, Saga's what put me over the hump, because
That's
like
right.
I knew obviously comic book stories in the MCU, and I think I might have picked up an issue or two of Thor or the Avengers because of the
Yep.
MCU and all that stuff. But this is the first, like, I cannot stop reading this. I need to know absolutely everything that happens right now.
Something about the author that somebody told me a long time ago is that the guy who is the big director and the writer for all this stuff, Brian Vaughan, Vaughan.
I think it's Brian K. Vaughan.
Brian K.
Brian K. Vaughan. He likes to write himself into a corner to where he doesn't know what he's going to do next.
I like that.
But you
And
kind of
you
like,
can tell.
he finds his way out
Yeah.
of it, like nearly every time. And I think that's what Dave at Emerald City was telling us, is that that's kind of where he is right now. Like, it's not over. The story's not over.
But I tell you what, I have read the end of Volume 9, and I got done reading that and said, I don't know what you can do from here.
Have you read all of it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you first find this?
It's been over a year.
It's been a while. Yeah,
Okay.
we have all the
we've had
we've
some
had all the
time.
volumes.
But I was like you. Once I picked up Volume 1 and I put it down, I said,
Oh, yeah.
okay, Volume
Like, I'm
2.
reading Volume 2 this weekend, probably. I'm probably
Yeah.
going to go to Emerald City and
That's
grab
good.
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
us
good.
when. We'll go too. Oh, wait,
Yeah, hey.
he won't. I will.
I won't, because I will be doing the 24-hour podcast. By the time you're hearing this episode, the 24-hour podcast will be over, and I may be dead.
I was going to say, you might not be around anymore.
Yeah.
Stroke and exhaustion.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out. And then Mark
It's
and
your
Megan
boy,
will-
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark and Megan
Yeah.
will be on
We're
it,
going to
too.
have to learn the buttons.
That's
so.
right.
Yes,
You
yes.
have to learn which one does this.
It's going to be you and Rob for the first 5 or 6 episodes. And
Yeah.
then Mark and I are going to have to step in, tag team it.
I like how we're talking about your husband dying, and we're worrying about the buttons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not your fractured
Anyway,
family.
Saga's amazing. Pick it up, read it. I feel like I'm getting kicked off the podcast.
Are we
You
done?
It's finally
Is that
you're
it?
up. No, I was just showing you to use the damn buttons.
Y'all definitely heard
Thor,
that.
is that you?
Thor is mad that I enjoyed some other comic before his.
He's a big fan
He's
of the show.
angry. Thor is angry. Chris Hemsworth.
Chris
and Thor?
Hemsworth and Thor. They're
Yeah.
both big fans of the show. They both listen. Chris Hemsworth,
I didn't
Chris
realize
Evans,
that we
Robert
had,
Downey Jr.
We had connections in Asgard.
We don't.
Asgard.
We don't.
You
Look at this.
do.
Just look at everything going on in
know.
this page.
What
I can't
is-
show you people at home, but
Yeah.
just flipping through this book, it's like, oh, this is so weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but in the context of the story, it's just all tied together.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's great. Saga's awesome. It's
Oh,
happening.
are you done now? Can I do the music now? Are you?
Thor's
I think we need to
angry.
get out of here before we get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
I've never turned it up that loud. I'm gonna turn it back down.
My precious
Wait,
ears.
we can't. We
Oh.
can't.
You got to
Oh my
tell the
gosh.
people where to find us and
That's
follow
right.
us.
Alter Ego Podcast 2 at gmail.com. You know what? I'll fade it in. Let's see how good of a fade job I do here. Alter Ego Podcast 2 at gmail.com. Alter Ego Podcast at podcast_ego on Instagram. Facebook at Alter Ego Podcast. YouTube.com/Alter Ego Podcast, or anywhere podcasts are found, dude.
Woo!
I feel so much better now.
Do you?
I feel like
You got it all in. You've been
Now we got it.
the great release of all the links.
Bye, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Saga.